So I mentioned last week that I saw that movie, That Thing You Do, where there was no thing there. And it took place in 1964. I was thinking about 1964. In 1964, the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. There's something else that happened in 1964. There's a lot of things that happened in 1964. One of them was that these words were spoken. There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart, that you can't take part. You can't even tacitly take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. Just 17, you know what I mean. The way I fell in love with her. Here's what else happened in 1964. Malcolm X broke with the Muslims. Jack Ruby was sentenced to death. Clay TKO'd Liston. General MacArthur died. Rachel Carson died. Sidney Poitier won an Oscar. Nehru died. Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney disappeared in Mississippi. Lenny Bruce was on trial for obscenity. Peter Sellers played the Pink Panther. LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act. Ian Fleming died. These words were spoken. The futures and careers for which American students now prepare are intellectual and moral wastelands. This chrome-plated consumer's paradise would have us grow up to be well-behaved children. But an important minority of men and women coming to the front today have shown that they will die rather than be standardized, replaceable, and irrelevant. When I saw her standing there. Goldwater got the nomination from the Republican Party. A Hard Day's Night opened. LBJ signed the anti-poverty legislation. Gracie Allen died. The Warren Commission finished their inquiry. Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney were found dead in Mississippi. Herbert Hoover died. Martin Luther King got the Nobel Peace Prize. Johnson beat Goldwater in a landslide. 21 people were arrested for the murder of 3 civil rights workers in Mississippi. Mario Savio stood up on top of a police car, Berkeley, California. A police car that was on campus trying to shut down some students who were having a demonstration as part of what was called the free speech movement. Because universities used to have rules that you couldn't have tables to give information and collect money for your different political organizations. The police arrested a friend of Mario's named Jack Weinberg, and he was sitting inside the police car, and the students surrounded the police car, hundreds of them, maybe even thousands of them. Mario Savio climbed on top of the police car, and he said, "There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even tacitly take part. You've got to put your bodies upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. You've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you are free, the machine will be prevented from working at all." December 1964, birth of the free speech movement. Savio died a couple of weeks ago, right before the election. He was working against Proposition 209. He was considered one of the leaders, but he never took a leadership role. He always kind of took a background role, except that sometimes he would stand up and say what needed to be said. It was a free speech night. Free expression night. It's something a lot of people gave a lot of time for. It's something that a lot of people gave their lives for, to have free speech. So I just want to encourage everyone to use their free speech. And every once in a while, between the trivia and the frivolity, say something important. Think about being dangerous.